Before we, can I talk about
we've got
the elephant on my forehead? So
describe for the listeners but viewers.
I went to get a trim, but I couldn't go to my normal barber because of time constraints. So I'm not going to say the place that I went to. Wait, there's a funny thing. There is a funny thing that happens.
That's what I noticed.
There's a funny. I'm going to talk about it because I didn't ask for it. There's a funny thing that happens when you go to the barbers, where the barber fucks up. But there's that moment where it's like that from that, you know, the R. Kelly musical, when he looks at me and I look at him, and I asked him to do something and his hand slipped as he coughed, and I was like, and then he was like, and then he kept kind of doing all these things. I'm just sitting there chilling, and all of a sudden my man gets out, pulls out like a credit card. I'm like, what's this for? Then he pulls out this next thing, and before I can say anything, he's put shoe polish on my forehead. So I know that I look ridiculous. I apologize.
You're like Carlos Boozer.
I apologize to my barber who I cheated on. I will never do it again. And the shower tonight is gonna look like venom. It's gonna look like venom. But
he was walking here real slow, wasn't he?
Yeah, when the rain started, I was like, yeah, I recognize it. My hair is not this black at the front.
It's that picture I put in the group of Jalen Hurts from the NFL. And he's got a sort of beret on after the game.
I probably need it.
Yeah. Well, you can borrow that from him.
I'll just call him, yeah.
Yeah, so listeners, if you want to see this in action, go to our YouTube. This is the time.
Hopefully it looks good on the camera.
It'll look crispy, yeah. It looks great.
Why are you putting shoe polish on my head, bruv? I don't even know what it is. What is it? Is it just shoe polish?
Fills in. It's like.
But I don't
like
have
a powdered.
He should fill it in at the back where the crown is crowning. Like the front is
you
fine.
are 6'6" or some shit. Ain't no one seeing up there. Yeah. But you are far too old to have a hairline that tight.
Do you know why I laugh so hard there? Because that's what my normal barber says. I was like, just shake me up. He was like, and he literally just went, brother.
Welcome to Black in a Box. The world is told by black faces in white spaces.
That's it.
Gestures
Black
to face,
faces,
gestures
white
to
space.
crowd.
I like that.
That was perfect.
How are we?
Yeah. Look at my hairline. I'm great. Crispy.
Crispy.
How do you feel? Do you feel like an imposter?
Right now?
Yeah.
I feel like I could be on the traitors right now. Yeah.
So, well, you betrayed your barber, but how do you feel like I'm too old to be?
I'm too old to look like I went in there and asked for a Premiership footballer haircut for sure.
Yeah, it looks like you asked for a Premiership.
It does. It does.
It don't look like you got one though.
No. He's like, bruv, for you I can only do League 2, bruv.
Oh man.
Got League.
No, all jokes aside, I'm just happy that you've got that much hair. Because I couldn't even do that.
It's the one thing I've been blessed with.
Awesome. How are you, Dan?
I'm all right. I've been on holiday.
You have?
Been away.
Yeah, you're looking, the color is looking rich.
Vibrant.
Of the skin.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's how you can tell when a black man has had a good time. It's when it's almost purple. That's what I'm seeing right
It's
now.
deep,
It's
it's deep buttery. It's looking
you
good.
look like almost the first man. I love it for you.
Nice. I don't know if I got there, to be honest, but it's, solid. You're solid 30 bank. Take your 30 degrees to the bank.
Yeah.
84, 85%.
We'll take that.
Humidity daily.
No.
That's all I need. So yeah, went to. I don't know if I should say. I'm not going to bait it out. Just went to a beach.
You were on your holidays. That's
13 to 15 hours away. Far enough. You know how these Google players be going mad. They take a little tiny detail and they're out there.
Looking at resorts.
Exactly. Don't need it. No. But no, it was lovely. Went with my partner, fiance.
Oh, he dropped it.
There we go. You gotta get used to
Yeah.
Yeah, and we took the kid away. She loved it. Flew really well on the way there. way back, tougher flight on the way back when you can't be getting people up at 3 a.m. and then saying you stay awake for the next 16 hours. It's a rough shake when you're a little baby. But yeah, all very good. So first day back in society today, properly. But yeah, all good. Excited.
Nice.
Energized?
For the new year.
Both of those two things.
Lovely.
Both of those two things, yeah. Look, I had a year off. Usually I do if not goals, like intentions, all those vibes, what I'm going to do. So I got back, I had a year off last year, obviously just trying to, grow the family, home, all that stuff. So this year I thought I'd actually get back on some stuff. So yeah, excited about that.
Nice. That's what I like to hear.
What about you?
Yeah, man, I'm good. 2025 has started off heavy. So much. I'm just busy. But I'm also jet setting in a few weeks. So
oh yeah.
I'm just waiting until then.
It's a month that ends in Y. Dom's away.
There we go. Of course, man.
So excited for that.
Absolutely. And Alana, we've not spoken to you.
No, we haven't. But there's not really much new to report for me, to be honest. I'm a little apprehensive about this year. For my countrymen, for...
Which country in particular? You're from every country.
Not the ancestral countries.
Oh, okay.
My country of birth.
Okay.
But yeah. But otherwise, I'm okay. I'm all right.
But
it's all right.
Things are expanding.
It's all right.
Greenland's going to be coming on board. The project's growing.
I don't think we need that.
You're not a fan?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, you might.
Sorry to be a downer.
You might grow to like it.
Meh. I'm just solidly meh at the start of this year, I think.
That's okay. I was telling someone at work about this. They were saying he came back energized, and January it can be tough because so much of what you do is beholden to other people. So for other people, you're waiting for things back from other people, or you've got classes and people are cancelling classes. Your best intentions can be quite easily laid to waste by
thwarted,
circumstance. So I mean, if anyone gets the opportunity and there is a month for you to get away, I'd recommend you do it in January.
January would be really the best time to leave. 100%.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Get out of this ghastly place.
Exactly. I crept away. Crept back. And that kind of brings us nicely to our first topic, Krept and Konan.
Mm-hmm.
Krept and Konan, entrepreneurs, multiple business owners, fingers in pies, not just the music, not just the restaurants. Have you been to Krept and Konan's, anyone?
I haven't actually, no.
Shame on you guys.
Where is it?
Is it Croydon? I think it.
Why would I have been there?
Like it's Croydon. Well, look, you often talk about this sort of idea you've got of this black Narnia where
and it's Croydon.
Croydon.
Croydon is
It was
black
that promise
Narnia.
that he left.
Yeah, he was in the wrong bit of Croydon, to be fair.
That's the whole of Croydon.
I was like, is there a right bit of Croydon?
He's in the wrong bit of Croydon, but yeah. So it might not be Croydon. I think I might be doing these guys wrong. But yeah, they've got Krept and Cones there. Krept has got Nala's baby with his ex-partner. And their latest venture is a supermarket chain specializing in goods for the Black and Asian community, called Saveways. I think it's going to be called.
Saveways.
And they've gone into it with this guy called Kaysar Ali, who is an Asian businessman, owns a chain of steakhouses called Stakeout. Good pun, love it. And this topic is of relevance because I guess it shines a light on a couple of ongoing debates that we have about particularly entrepreneurialism and how it's viewed, and also leveraging blackness to invoke a duty to support. Now, I don't want to do up like that. Sounds very sort of university thesis level stuff. This is not. Essentially, in the press for this, Krept and Konan, they did a bunch of videos, there was a bunch of posts, and it was stated as it was going to be the first black-owned British supermarket chain. Now, though they are minority owners, I think they've got 2% each. Mr. Ali's got, I'm not sure if he's got all of the rest, but he's got something 9-something%. So, you know, that travels far and wide. And there is, you know, people think, oh, you know, let's support this.
Yeah.
Look at these black men doing well. We're going to open doors for the community. This is what we need. And they met with what they would call backlash. What Krept called a crabs in a bucket mentality in questioning whether it was in fact black owned, questioning the equity, questioning the business arrangement, and, you know, almost painting this picture that it kind of didn't matter what he was doing, that it didn't matter that they had 2% of this, it didn't matter that it was part of a much bigger vehicle to sort of get on that ownership ladder to being able to have bigger percentages of this because they had done some rhetorical trickery in order to fool the black community, who has been fooled before on many occasions. So this is a particularly, it's a thorny topic, and I think there are good arguments on and arguments worth listening to from both perspectives, particularly Krept and Konan. But I think I'll open it up by tossing a little sort of Under Armour to you, Angelo, just on your thoughts on this initially.
It's really difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, I am in favour of anybody that's from a community doing anything that they can to try and give back to their community. And I'm also as anti. I'm in this weird place where I'm anti-capitalist, but I understand it's the game. So I'm not then kind of going to lambast anyone that's kind of trying to live within that game. Like, I always say that kind of if somebody put an extra 0 on my check, I'd probably do like something completely different. The only thing I've ever kind of said that I absolutely will not do again is work in oil and gas, but that was because of a very specific reason.
Mm-hmm.
You played Boris Johnson, didn't you?
Pardon?
You played Boris Johnson for...
Yeah, I mean, hey, we all got to do what we got to do. But so on the one hand, I'm like, look, yeah, it's 2% equity. That's obviously, they're not majority shareholders, but they're being put forward. But at the same time, that shop is going to create, I think it said 30 new jobs. There's going to be a prayer room in there in an area where over half the population is black, Asian, minority ethnic. Stand up the Bamians. But in a population where it's over half of that, a place that is dedicated to that can't be a bad thing. At the end of the day, your dollars are going to go somewhere. Mm-hmm. If it's going somewhere where it might be reinvested back even in a little way, I can understand that. On the flip side, I don't know Krept. I don't know Konan. I don't know if this is just a way for them to make their money and kind of from the community and then dip from the community. And I think that I think anytime you go into business with the specific aim of targeting communities that look like ours, you're going to have to accept there's going to be more skepticism because so many people have kind of gone for the black pound. And that's from like, you can look at Nando's. Nando's loved black people until it went mainstream. And now it's, you know, now that the Jonties go there, they don't care. So I don't know, like, I'm in that weird position where I'm like, my dollars have to go somewhere. If it can go somewhere that might reinvest in the community rather than live in an offshore bank account, that's got to be a good thing.
It's like wait and see, though. That's what I think. because how are you getting mad when this isn't even a thing yet? Like the shops haven't opened, so why are you getting so mad about it?
And getting mad, but also like, it's not like, oh, we're just opening more grocery shops or supermarkets in black neighborhoods. It's supposed to specifically sell like Bahamian foods that you can't really get. So you don't have to go to necessarily, I mean, but then maybe this is a plus and minus. You don't necessarily have to go far to like an Afro-Caribbean shop or an Asian grocery shop that's going to sell what you would normally want to cook. You can have hopefully something closer in your community. But then again, on this other hand, like you said,
And
would it drive away business from those smaller shops? I don't know.
But let's also not pretend that there isn't a challenging racial dynamic at play as well. I'm old enough to remember last year where there was the incident at the
hair shop.
And there was a lot of, and again, let's just be really honest, in the online discourse, there was a lot of racist comments that were going both ways, and it revealed that there have been some tensions between South Asian communities and I think it's particularly West African communities, and so there will be some people that will just see that they have gone into business with someone whose surname is Ali, immediately link it to something else and immediately be off it. So I get what you're saying in terms of like let the thing breathe. I can also understand why people have their backs up. Because
but who would you rather? Because let's be honest about it. The black community isn't big enough, really and true, in the UK, and we don't have that many extremely wealthy people in the UK to actually make a splash right from the get-go. So I'm like, who would you rather Krept and Konan be partnering with?
Oh no,
I'm not saying this to you. I'm saying this to the people that I've got an issue with it, because it's like, okay, well, let's go with a private equity firm or something. Let's go with all these other institutions which are just as vicious and blood-sucking.
but I
Predominantly
think that,
white.
What, though?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe, I think we also need to give credit to the communities. Like one of the MPs with the lowest ratings at the minute is David Lammy. You know, and he is in a predominantly black community because they've been able to see through the kind of politics that he espouses through his actions. He's still like he put out this ludicrous video the other day where he's gone into Sudan, and there's this line, "Why aren't liberals talking about Sudan?" It's like, okay, I'm not even going to say what I was going to say, but my point is like
You might get arrested.
Literally, quite literally. But we've had this era of your David Lammys, of your Kwasi Kwartengs, and so this idea of not all skin folk are kinfolk, which we've been saying since season 1, is much more obvious. So
Yeah.
all I hope is that the community will judge them by their actions, but give them that chance to be judged.
Yeah,
Gotta
give
have
them
the
a chance.
You gotta
yeah.
have the chance, man. You gotta have the chance.
What are your thoughts, DC?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of like things I'm going to pick up on it. I think from you said you don't know Krept, you don't know whether it's just an opportunity to make money in dip. I sort of mentioned the things they'd done at the top because I think there's kind of enough of a track record now that nothing would suggest they're doing this just to sort of cut and run. Are they leveraging the fact that they are black, the fact that they are from that community, to possibly overstate? No, because I'm not even going to say that. Like from their perspective, from my perspective, if I was in that position, I would say I would regard that as black owned. I've got 2%. Like if I'd come from where they've come from to the point where they're able to be in that position, there's no way you can tell me you're Asian. That's like you're part owner of the Asian owned supermarket.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you mad? Are you mad? And I think the some of the harshness of the tone of the conversation is one because it's the internet and people don't know how to disagree and talk to each other anymore.
Communicate,
Yeah, and they won't take like everything has to be quite a cynical thing. So in like Krept and Konan saying, "Oh, this is going to be the first UK black-owned supermarket chain," which from their perspective, like I will say that it is. Like that doesn't need to be. I don't know if it's specific. 'Cause I'm going to speak about like that community. I don't know if it is specific to us, where we read that as a cynical, as always been quite a cynical thing, as a cynical ploy to overstate who you are. Like, and there was a bunch of posts, I think I shared them in the group, like, who's like reading that and then thinking, oh, let me go to company's house. I understand. I understand the cynicism, and I understand, like, I do not want these people to make a fool of me, but I just think it's like, it's quite like, is like.
But also, why are you holding them to a higher standard than like Tesco's and Sainsbury's? And
that's
Asda, who like literally kind of tried to union bust and all of this stuff. People like
that's what they said, but the argument there is Asda and Tesco and Sainsbury's aren't putting themselves out there as a higher moral thing. I don't think Krept and Konan were.
They're doing it as a moral thing. They're doing it as there's a need in the community, and like. Because
there's an opportunity in the community.
There is an opportunity in the community.
But they even said that.
But in the same way that, like, when Stormzy...
Which I don't think is a bad thing.
When Stormzy opens up the football pitches, also in Croydon, that is still making money.
Yeah.
But we recognise, do you know what? We still need a place for the young people to go. And even if it's a little bit of money, like it's almost like maybe I'm wrong, and tell me if I'm wrong. I'm happy to be held accountable on this. But it's almost like if you try and do kind of a community good, but you're trying to make money off of it, it's almost like the scale of money that you're trying to make almost determines the kind of backlash that you get. You try and do kind of this and you're only trying to make, I don't know, thousands or tens of thousands. It's like, oh, that's great. But the second you try and make that generational money, it's like, no.
Well, maybe that's a thing. Well, I don't know if it's a thing here. Maybe it's everywhere. But because I'm just thinking of like Issa Rae, who has always been like very proud from LA, like reps it in everything. Obviously, she cares about her community, but she's just opened up like a fine dining restaurant. Granted, it's like off Slauson. It's in where she grew up in LA. It's a place that was like very hood up until recently. And like the coffee shops that she has, she's like Hilltop Coffee and stuff like that all around, dotted around LA, specifically in more like black and brown neighborhoods. And maybe she's gotten criticism from that, but I don't know. Maybe it's me. I never looked at it that way. I was like, it's not like she's going and she's like, let me go to, I don't know, Palm Springs and open up a
the American black experience and the British black experience is so different because the
British
black experience is so London centric. It's, you know, anywhere if you're not in London, you're a minority. It's one place where there is that idea for community.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just feels like they're businessmen who are using themselves to sell the product. I don't understand. I do understand why there's a problem, but I do wish that there wasn't a problem.
The thing that kind of there's so many thoughts that go into my mind, and I think back to when Kanye West had the Sway interview, and is doing the whole "you ain't got the answers," and it's basically like one party wants that huge trust and investment from these backers that have got all the money in the world, and the other's like, well, you should be able to do it a little bit more organically because you've got a great community. There's a lot of people that are going to buy into your product anyway. That was the crux of the argument as I saw it. The issue is that doesn't really work in the UK because even though you've got these decently sized communities in a London, for instance, as you were just alluding to, it's not really enough to actually make a dent against the likes of Tesco's, your big supermarkets. It's not going to happen. So then you couple that with the fact that everyone is hooked to social media. So everyone is comparing what they have and what they think they can aspire to with what people are actually seemingly achieving on social media. And now we can actually compare ourselves to celebrities that have got access to a ridiculous level of capital that we don't have. There you've got your, well, I'm not worthy. I can't do this. Why can they do that? So you got that jealousy. It's just a projection. It's a projection. And there's so many sad people out there as well. It's like, let me just go to the internet and vent at these people that have because I have not. It's just as simple as that for me.
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of the comments seemed very, there are a couple articles that weren't really talking about it being a black-owned establishment, but they were really emphasizing the fact that it was going to be like, we're going to have all these sort of like Black, Asian, minority, ethnic foods, things that like are not very accessible. And they just kept, from what I saw, I kept interpreting that. So I was like...
The only thing that makes me laugh about that is Croydon is the most accessible place in London to find all of those foods.
Yes, I mean,
so many
but that's the thing. Correct me if I'm wrong,
though.
but
that's
so
yeah.
I like there are multiple layers to this, and to just sort of peel back one of those, I think where with regards to sort of Krept and Konan and the initial backlash, I've been searching for this furiously. This post, and it's from Reggie Yates, who's in the sort of UK Black business community, a prominent voice. She's been quite vocal about this, and in honestly, being her criticisms quite tightly to like whether this is a Black-owned enterprise or whether it's not. And it's a long post, but I'll read it. This is Krept went onto a podcast and. The post said Krept hit back critics and says the same people happily shop in Lidl and Aldi and support their gym owners, but when it's a Black owner, they want to pick holes in things. That's obviously a précis of what he said, but it's probably pretty truthful to what he actually said on the podcast. Now, Reggie Yates said, is Aldi's success attributed to the Asian community or the white community? Are they implying that Black people don't shop at Black-owned grocery stores? Sainsbury's, Aldi, Lidl have chains across the UK. Can anyone name a Black-owned supermarket on that scale? These kinds of disingenuous takes frustrate me because if we look at consumer behaviour honestly, the same people, Black people who shop at Sainsbury's, Aldi and Lidl also support their local African grocery stores. Let's stop with the lies and the goalpost shifting. The backlash was never about shopping habits. It was about being misled into thinking it was Black-owned when it wasn't. Now, to add a bit more sort of context to this, Krept and Konan released a song not so long ago. I don't know if you're familiar with this, and it's basically like a love song for Black fathers to their kids with an accompanying video. It was supposed to be quite a heartfelt thing, quite warm.
Oh God!
Oh no!
The discourse around this was that literally it was maybe I don't know, maybe let's say
all the babies were lighter than their daddies.
15 to 20, and all the babies were lighter than their dads. Now, that was the discourse around this thing, which was supposed to be like this empowering statement about Black fatherhood. So, against that backdrop, where there's comment about Krept already, Krept owns Nala's baby with his partner. They had a sort of quite public sort of breakup before, but I think they're still together in business terms. So, again, like this, it's weird that I start to feel that some of these things end up getting rolled into this end criticism that he's leveraging, or they're leveraging their sort of Blackness when, 6 months ago or 3 months ago, it was when they did this video, it was very visibly, it's like the people were just questioning, Black love. You've got a mixed daughter. So
yeah.
I wonder how I don't want to talk about us as the Black community, but I wonder where we're able to sort of move beyond these kind of sort of these hang-ups, these personal like sort of feelings about individuals and their choices about who they're with, or about who they should be with, or what they've done, and stop allowing that to sort of colour everything they do. I don't want to talk, again about like what we've said in the past, where you got imperfect allies, but as you've got to be able to, state, I don't like that about a person, or I don't like that about a thing, and as long as that thing isn't harmful to other people, or isn't harmful to the overall progress of a people, and it's not blocking other people from doing what they need to do. You know, we've got to be able to just sort of put that aside and either say well done, either say that's good. You can say something's bad as well. That's not saying you can't criticize things. It's just criticize it on fair terms, and don't sort of try and stop the moment or block a blessing based on the fact that you sort of disagree with other things a person has done.
Or here's a novel idea. Just mind your fucking business. Like genuinely, like not everything needs a comment.
Yeah.
Just mind your
criticism.
business.
Yeah.
Keep it inside. If you're upset about it, oh, that's a bit shit. I wish I could do that. Doesn't have to go any further than that.
Yeah.
No one cares about your opinion.
Literally.
Just mind your business.
Drink
Jesus
water while you're
Christ.
doing it. There's a sign.
That's genuinely, I just had that queued up. I was like, you know what this moment
Next
needs
time
right
you
now? It
wanna
needs some
comment.
Patrice Roberts, man.
Why don't you go have a glass of water?
Water and mind my business.
Yeah, I mean, one of the other things that, you know, I think
We should probably wrap this topic up.
yeah. One is my sort of my parting sort of comments on this, and we spoke about storms. Yeah, I just want to touch about this, and this is always something we'll talk about in the future in greater fullness. Like Stormzy kept on being invoked because they were like, oh, when Stormzy did his books things, or Stormzy did his somebody's doing the football club thing. Like, do we need to compare them? Two completely different things. One group of people are opening restaurants. They're trying to invest in supermarkets. That's their business route. The other guy's taking a more charitable route, and he's opening up doors in that way, and he's doing scholarships and what have you. Two different things.
You've also got to realise as well, this is the last thing I'm going to say on this. This is probably a net positive, I think, for the black community, because you've got Stormzy, you got Krept and Konan. The reason we compare them is because there's not many of them. Unfortunately, when there's not that many of you, so many of you need a start. You need a break some way or other. So if it's your 2% here, your 5% here, your 10% here, and then you're taking what you make from that and you're bringing other people through with you, then we're going to get to a point where we don't have to compare people because there's loads of you. It's as simple as that for me. You've got to start somewhere. We're 3%. We are 3%. Where are they expecting this money to come from?
Boom.
It was your idea. Where did you see this? Did you see something on Twitter?
No, I didn't. I was just thinking. But then I did Google search, and it's a thing that perennially kind of comes
Pops up, doesn't it?
And so we're talking about the greatest 3-track runs on an album. But to be clear, it's favourite, not greatest, because otherwise it's all gonna be Thriller. It's gonna be you know, why is it? It's gone out of my head.
That Thriller run is pretty mad, though.
It is ridiculous. Fleetwood Mac on Rumours. It's going to be Bob Marley's Survival. It will be the classic.
It wouldn't be Bob Marley's Survival either.
It would, okay, we're not getting into it. So
You said legend, Bob Marley.
I did not say legend.
You said he's got.
I didn't. But yeah, so
I personally would have disqualified pop from this, because the way in which pop songs are made is they are made to be consumed and powerful and palatable in conversations like this. They're not made as I'm just going to make this beautiful song. They're made in a specific.
Yeah, but how many pop albums? Are really
this
great
is it. But
albums,
the thing
though?
is
This
that
the point.
they sprinkle the singles throughout.
No,
so
but certain
very few pop albums
certain people
loaded.
But certain people get a recipe, and that recipe is then felt to be irresistible, isn't it, Alana?
I won't. I'm not gonna bite that.
Look, like,
Mine won't be a pop 3-track run.
How many weeks off number one has Taylor had? In like the last
Off of
4
number one?
years? Not many, because
Yeah, but this isn't really on the strength of her albums, is it? It's the strength of her
And let's talk about
following.
Adele. Adele's been number one for like 25 years.
Yeah, because she's got the recipe.
Yeah, but I bet none of these would have a 3-track run that would get into like a greatest ever 3-track run list.
Adele might.
Well, but this
I don't actually know because I've never listened to an Adele album from.
neither
front to
have
back.
I. But this is the problem. Like there were so many greats where I was like, I gotta pick a great artist, but it would be.
Did you just pick one?
What?
Right, so Dom, you're going to be our lead off here.
Right.
Yeah, you start.
So there's
And pick one. I don't want 15. It's
No.
one. You can have an honourable
no,
mention
because
and then your top one.
this is a discussion. This is a discussion.
Yeah, I think it should be.
It should absolutely be a discussion because we're going by favourites, but then it's also I've got to weigh up. Well, that is ridiculous. So the first thing that came to mind for me was from the Diary of Alicia Keys. And
I want to know which three.
there's a pot in the album, 2 of them actually are singles, and 2 of her strongest ever singles, where she goes from "You Don't Know My Name" to "If I Ain't Got You" to "Diary," and it's just like I'm just boxing
But
you
one
out,
of those things ain't like the other.
bro. "Diary."
I know that album incredibly well.
Stop it. Stop it. But I think the one which I struggle to see past, really and truly, is the first 3 proper tracks on the Miseducation. Because I don't know how you come into an album and the first track is Lost Ones.
Yeah.
Which washes pretty much every hip-hop song you can name ever since the inception of hip-hop. Then into X Factor, which is a perfect R&B pop record, whatever you want to call it. And then Zion. I mean, come on.
No weaknesses.
Come on. There is not a weak song there.
I agree with you.
There
I
isn't.
agree with you.
There is not. But again, and you find this when you do these 3-track things, and this is why it has to be preference, because if you then extend that to 4 tracks,
Do what?
but then Zion, you're like, probably the worst out of the 4. And we're saying worse in a very...
That's like your least favourite child, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But that's the interesting way you got to look at it. Because then you like start going weird. You're like, but what if I just knock it on one just to get that in? And it just becomes like, what is it's?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, you just start looking for like greatest hits albums.
Well, this is the
Like,
thing,
there you
because it's the 25th anniversary of Voodoo this week, sorry. And I was looking at Voodoo and I was like, what's the 3-track run in here? I have a 6-track screenshot in front of me right now because there's so many different combinations that you can go with, where there's 2 which are absolutely certified, then 1 that's amazing, but then the next one is more amazing. It's a difficult game to play, man.
And that's why I didn't pick Voodoo, because I know exactly the run where you're like, if one track was flipped, it would be all over.
I'm not sure, because Send It On Through Spanish Joint is perfect.
Well, so one of my issues was, so I wanted to do Jill Scott.
Who is Jill Scott?
Who is Jill Scott? It goes, Do You Remember, Exclusively, which is a great song, but then it goes Getting in the Way and A Long Walk. So it's just like,
I know, I had the exact same thing and I was so mad at Exclusively. Because in like the flow of the album, it's right where it needs to be.
Yes, and it's a great song,
Yeah.
but it's like if you could just hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah.
In hip hop, there's so many in hip hop.
There's not.
There is.
There's that.
There's not. Me and you were beefing about this before. There is not.
So if I may,
Go on.
Rosa Parks into Skew It on the Barbie,
Exactly.
into Equipment. Skew It on the Barbie might be the best track on the album. The way that Raekwon comes onto that, you must be out your mind. I knew you were going to say that. Rosa Parks into Skew It on the Barbie into Equimini is ridiculous. It is because I would say, if you're going to say what's the weakest track on that 3, I would say it's Equimini, and Equimini is a perfect track. I love Equimini, but that 3-track run is stupid.
Well, as the mod on a podcast, like, I love you.
you like my barber?
Respect.
Yeah. But I just
No.
it's I no,
What do you mean no? I'm confused.
not allowed. Move it on.
I have many.
Well, give us the actual one.
Oh, so my actual one, and the great thing about this is this album is so old that you guys won't argue with me because you've probably not heard of it. Actually, you'll have heard of it, but it's from 1990. The album is called The Revival by Tony.
Is that 2020? I almost did that. Which 3 did you do though?
There's only one 3-track run in the album that is where there's no skips. It starts with It Never Rains in Southern California.
Yeah.
It goes on to Whatever You Want and then finishes with I Care.
See, that's not. So I wanted to do Tony, but basically there's like 2, because Let's Get Down is actually my favorite song, but it's not on that album. Is it?
No,
it's
no,
not.
no.
It's the next one after that, I think.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
I'm
I
not
like
mad at it either, but-
The second we thought about doing this, that was the 3-track run that I wanted to get to, because that 1990 perfect. I can see. I'm watching like New Jack Swing. I'm watching like Boys in the Hood. You got the.
You were
the
actually
shoulder
watching
pads.
it as well, weren't you?
Yes, I was. I'm old as shit. But yeah, no, I think that was my favorite of the 3-track runs. I think Outkast have got 2, but I didn't want to do the second one because
What is it?
Because it's from Love Below.
Just say it, man.
No, because it's from. I tell you why I'm not saying it.
This is long form content. Say it.
What's your next one, Dom?
This is a weird one for me, but I had it because it's beautiful. Amy Winehouse, Back to Black.
Yeah, I know.
Wake Up Alone, into Some Unholy War, into He Can Only Hold Her. I'm just like that 3.
Do you know what's really interesting?
That's good.
I have a different 3-track run from the same album.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because if you go to tracks numbers 2, 3, and 4, they are.
Is it?
Well, track number 2 is 1, 2, and 3.
Is it
1, 2, and
Rehab?
3? Rehab into You Know I'm No Good into Me and
Into
Mr.
Me,
Jones.
Mr. Jones. Yeah, that is a very, very strong one. I think I was also looking at
But then
2, 3,
you
4.
also want to go 2, 3, 4 because
Yeah,
You Know
2,
I'm
3,
No
4.
Good, Me and Mr. Jones, Just Friends.
Just Friends is a big tune.
But then is this a victim of what Dan says about the pop track? They kind of have cracked the code.
Take the best almost one ever. I'm sorry, I'll come to you in a second, Dan. The best almost
I'll
one.
let you finish, but Beyonce had the greatest time of all time.
Steve, listen to this.
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder, Inner Visions,
Yeah.
goes Higher Ground, into Jesus, Children of America, into All in Love is Fair, into Don't You Worry About a Thing, which are probably 4 almost perfect songs. But if you take out All in Love is Fair, that's perfect.
What's your next one, Dan?
Go on, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, but he's also cheating. That's cheating.
Because you can actually see.
All them man there.
Have you seen the trending conspiracy video?
Like, he's actually not blind. The content around that is objectively funny, though. I'm sorry. We are a very, very respectful community here.
We're not. We're
No,
so
we are.
serious.
Dan, you mentioned that you came across a 9-track run, and I'm really interested to know what it is.
Yeah. So what this was, and it's good because we're never going to get any more music from this person, and not because he's dead, just because I think he's afraid of Lucian. So Frank Ocean, Channel Orange.
I knew that's okay. So that's on mine.
Oh,
I thought you were going to say Drake. Did you see my eyes widen there?
That's such a deep cut as well. Be afraid of Lucian.
I was like Channel Orange, yeah.
because
Skips.
this is that's actually inside. I don't know if I've said this on the pod before. That's inside chat. Is the reason why there has not been another album is because they are waiting. They are waiting, and the second that he pokes his head up, it's done. It's done for him. So he can't work with it. Like, no one's going to facilitate this thing. There's been a few loosies. That's not coming out. But anyway, so Channel Orange. So you pretty much, you can go from Pilot Jones. Even John Mayer's presence in the middle of that run
That's the 3 that.
doesn't spoil
Yeah.
what is like actual greatness. Now, in the end, because I'm just sucker and I go for Bad Religion, Pink Matter, and Forrest Gump. But I don't know if, again, like I said before, Dom, if that's because like Forrest Gump of the 3 is like a tier below, at least. But
I mean, you could count Pyramids as 2 songs and say Pyramids into Lost.
You could call it 3 songs, and but you've got at the top, you've got Pilot Jones, you've got Crack Rock into Pyramids, you've got Crack Rock, you've got Pyramids into Lost. Per many 2 from those. And then, but like that album, it's serving him up, depending on what you
Okay, nobody expects me to be the person to say this. There is a Drake run. It's in Nothing Was the Same. When he goes 305 to My City, into Too Much, into Pound Cake. And that silence is you guys not wanting to give it up, but you know that.
No, it's not that at all. I just don't think that's the 3 I would have picked.
From the album, or would you have picked a different
I
album?
would probably gone the first 3 tracks of that album.
Yeah,
Tuscan
Leather into Further Things start from the bottom.
Do you know why I wouldn't? Because I think Wu-Tang Forever, which comes after it, clears all 3 of those tracks.
That's fair, but you also picked Skew It on the Barbie, so what?
I love, like, I'm not rational about Skew It on the Barbie, but what do we think about that Drake 3-track run?
I don't hate it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, it's all right.
I've got one for you. Get Rich or Die Trying.
Oh.
Right.
I kept meaning because I haven't listened to it for a while. I was like, 1000% there's going to be 3 on there, and I just never got round to it.
I'm telling you, What Up Gangster or Patiently Waiting, you can start either, because after that you've got Many Men and In the Club in terms of like
that's
impact.
Really good.
That's huge.
That's really good. Actually.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's really good.
And that's the opening 4 tracks of his first album.
All right. So this is the one that I actually was gonna pick, and then I have one that really is actually authentic to me. But what I was thinking was kind of rogue, but I love the Black Panther album.
I love the album.
And I said Paramedic into Bloody Waters into King's Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very good.
And then you
That is very, very good.
could go into Redemption right after.
No. That's yeah.
No,
I
because
looked at that album I looked at that album very hard. You know that meme of like.
yeah, I was hovering.
That was me when I was like.
And if Georgia Smith wasn't there, you could have gone Ops. Oh, mate, that album is stacked, actually.
Yeah,
It's
there's actually the first.
It's why a lot of people go that's
from
their
all the
favorite Kendrick
stars.
album.
Yeah.
Can I add one that's it's a black lead singer. 2007, A Weekend in the City by Block Party.
Oh.
Hunting for Witches into Waiting for the 718 into The Prayer. You could even go, I think you can go 1 through 5, which is Song for Clay, Hunting for Witches, Waiting for the 718, The Prayer into Uniform. It's a ludicrous.
I would
I
have
do
rather you
love
said
Block
Legend.
Party.
Like, that is...
Because you've never heard the album, have
No,
you?
I've never. And I will never listen to it.
Dom?
It is good.
I'm sure it is.
It is good.
It went big in the student unions.
Did it? I can count on one hand how many times I went to my union.
So you could also do some Alt J, but I'm not going to take us there.
Alt J?
Yeah,
Alt J. You could. Well, they've got actually really good 3-track run, but I'm not going to take us there. But I will say this because
Right, so
wait. This is my favorite band of all time, and I know this is probably going to fall on deaf ears, but we all know I love Radiohead a lot.
Yeah.
In Rainbows, you go from 15 Step to Body Snatchers to Nude to Weird Fishes.
But that's
like the whole. I think that whole.
that's like
album
their
is, like,
4th best album.
maybe their 4th best album.
So it's not my favorite album.
Are
I
you
just
a Kid A
think
person?
that's a good.
Are you Kid A?
No, Hell to the Thief is my favorite.
God, that's like their 6th best.
No, it's not.
What have you? Are you?
No, because what you like
When
the
did you
early
come
stuff
across
when they
them?
were just like rock and roll. When you like Creep, is that your favorite
Is that
song?
OK Computer, which is on that one?
No, that was that's first. And I am the Benz guy. The Benz is.
I do like the Bends as well, but that's when they're still a bit like alternative. I liked when they got a bit more.
Right, so can we get on record
Anyway.
which is your one? And obviously subject to change, but at this moment in time in 2025, which is your 1 3-track run?
The strongest one mentioned so far, I think, is Lauryn Hill.
That's yours, yeah? That's the one that you mentioned.
No, I think that this room has mentioned it's the strongest one.
But you mentioned it, so that's yours.
Dan, what's your one?
To be fair, I'm happy to go with that. But this is one of those things you're just going to leave it to the people. I just want them to leave what are their 3 best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you don't just get away with you snuck. And I Kelly Okereke, we went on the Pepsi Maps together at Blackpool Pleasure Beach in maybe 2006.
When he was hot as well.
Yeah, the place was pretty much empty. There was only us and them there, and we went around about 12 times. So I love that guy, but you can't just sneak.
No. Sorry. No.
Haven't got
That
time
is
for it.
one of the great 5-track runs. I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
Is that the one you're going for?
No, because I said I was going for Tony Tone, and I stand by it.
Yeah.
Good, you better do. Because if you think about some of the artists that we've mentioned, and now you're saying Block Party, with all due respect, I'm not having it.
Name me another artist that's got a better first 2 albums than them. I'll wait.
Well, I've not listened to him, so I can't.
I'll wait. And what's yours?
But every other artist that we've mentioned.
I think I'll go with Black
Streets.
Panther.
Do you know what? Yes, And I knew I would have got more love in the room if I'd have mentioned A Grand Don't Come for Free.
Yeah.
But I wanted to keep it real, and Block Party was what I wanted to talk about.
Before we finish, I bet we could have also mentioned Arctic Monkeys. They probably had a good one.
They have
their early albums.
They have
But
two
anyway,
albums.
I'm just saying Black Panther.
Dom,
Final
it's Dom. This is reverse racism. How you
No,
don't?
no, it's not. It's not. It's because this is the thing. I was taking it seriously because I was looking at Arctic Monkeys albums. I was looking at all these white albums that we like, and I was like, yeah, there's some great 3, 4, 5 songs, but there's none that are perfect. So I wish I'd go perfect. The only one that I had that has not fit the agenda that I'm building here is Dark Side of the Moon. There's a 3-track run on that album, which is mad.
Well,
Absolutely
it's all
ridiculous.
like one big track.
Exactly, because sequencing matters.
Yeah.
You can't just mention 3 great songs back to back. Do they flow? Does it go properly? That's how it is. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to these Block Party and Alt J.
To these block parties. I'm gonna listen.
I'm gonna listen to that there Block Party.
I'm gonna listen.
I'm gonna listen to that there Block Party. This is what the young kids are doing.
Listen as well, and if I enjoy it, I'll say it straight up.
I will send you Alt J.
Thank you.
It's very good.
This is it. Like I said, just the streets from when
A Grand Don't Come for Free.
the journey from when he drops the pill to the breakup. Is the arc. Like, you know.
I love original part material as well, and I think that's got a 3-track run. The opening 3 tracks on that are ridiculous.
Very good.
This is the point. I want to know what the people are saying.
Same.
Tell us. Okay, we want to hear from you. Who have you got 3-track run? Also tell us about Krept and Konan. Tell us about Saveways. Tell us about anything.
Everything.
We've been Black in a Box.
We have.
Is that your gang signs? What is that?
Peace
Honestly,
signs.
he gets his hairline filled in and he just
don't know
starts acting brand new. Starts acting brand new. Honestly. Okay. We are.
Peace.